In 1901, the Immigration Restriction Act, also known as the White Australia Policy, was created. This policy enforced strict regulations on immigration, focusing on encouraging migrants of British descent. However, at the end of World War II, Ben Chifley, the Australian Prime Minister, recognised that Australia did not have the military strength to fight against the communist threat in Southeast Asia. In addition, Australia's economy was under huge strain with the lack of infrastructure and the lack of labourers. Australia had to populate or perish. As a result, Chifley created the Department of Immigration, which was led by Arthur Calwell, who believed that immigration was the only solution.
The mission on which I am now embarking is vital to the nation. I am going abroad to seek ships for immigrants. If we have no ships, we shall get no immigrants. And without immigration, the future of the Australia we know will be both uneasy and brief.
The £10 POM scheme was implemented to attempt to keep Australia British during this immigration program.
Dad's taking me to Australia. He says that's the best place for me to get on in life.
You too can go to Australia for £10. Inquire now at your local employment exchange or at Australia House, London.
However, Calwell knew that it was impossible to fill the quota with British immigrants. Controversy followed.
The minute you let them in, you're going to finish up. You'll get overrun with them.
To limit the controversy, Calwell and Chifley brought blonde white migrants, which they called the beautiful Balts, from countries in the Baltic Sea such as Latvia to ensure a white Australia. In the 1950s, increasing number of migrants came from southern European countries such as Italy and Greece. However, the White Australia policy still prohibited Asian immigrants entering Australia and deported those who lived in Australia at the time.
Military police seized, and none too gently, all who refused to board the ship.
Between 1945 to 1970, nearly 3 million migrants arrived in Australia. Australia's immigration program became the second largest in the world behind Israel. As early in the 1950s, the White Australia policy had begun to be whittled down with the end of the infamous dictation test in 1958. However, an even bigger change was about to occur. In 1972, the human rights abuses of the Vietnam War and the increasing support from the Australian public led to Gough Whitlam ending the White Australia policy entirely and replacing it with the policy of multiculturalism. During the late 70s and early 80s, Malcolm Fraser, the Australian Prime Minister, accepted 14,000 Vietnamese refugees or boat people who were fleeing the communist government. Subsequently, Lebanese people settled in Australia to flee a civil war, and there were more migrants from Asian countries such as Malaysia, China, and the Philippines. Since 1945 to 2000, the number of migrants from non-European, non-English speaking countries had increased more than threefold. This changing pattern of migration has changed the face of Australia. From once being a white Australia, we have become one of the most diverse nations in the world.